Hey everyone, it's Liam the Deaf Doom Metalhead. I hope you're all well. I've been watching a few videos on YouTube and I've noticed that in the vinyl community people do these like questions and they kind of share it and you can obviously then answer back with the same sort of questions but with your point of view on it. And I thought, because I'm quite new to YouTube still in a way, I mean I've only started in May, I thought it'd be quite nice to try and do my own. So I've done 10 questions, you know, random things but that kind of will obviously relate to music. And it'd be quite nice to see if people can like do the same and then kind of, converse, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Talking to people and you find out new albums, you get talking to new people with the same sort of passion as you have for music, that kind of crap. So yeah, I'll kick it off. So my first question is, why did you start a YouTube channel? Now for me, I watched these kind of things for years. Even when I was in high school, when YouTube, or even college actually, when YouTube became a thing, there was people kind of doing this sort of thing, but in a very primitive way. And obviously, throughout the years, like Infidel Amsterdam is probably the oldest channel I can think of that I used to watch quite regularly. I mean, he doesn't really do it anymore, but his channel, he used to show off his vinyl collection CDs and do all sorts of kind of off-topic things. And I used to really enjoy that. And then after a while, I kind of stopped watching them all. I'd kind of dip in and out, guitar playthroughs, album, live shows, that kind of stuff. And then literally this year, obviously because of COVID, everyone was obviously working from home, and I'm sat in front of my computer, 7 hours a day. And then my work obviously paid for me to be at home, so I got a new chair, new setup, so I'd be comfortable. And I kind of watched more and more, YouTube videos, and I started getting back into collecting again. And like Mark G with a C, Metal Mickey, Darcy's channel, Jurgen's channel. There's absolutely loads that I used to watch quite regularly. And then obviously Mark put a comment on saying you should do your own videos, and I thought, why not? Because out of all my friends, I'm probably the biggest nerd when it comes to metal music. I mean, I don't really have that many friends that are into the kind of stuff I'm into, if I'm honest. There's a few, but they're either one way or the other, and there's no common ground. Even in my band, even though we all play Deaf Doom, there's probably only maybe three of us that are proper into it, like collecting it and listening to it on a regular basis. The others, dip in and out of it because it's not really their thing to be listening to all the time. Excuse me. So yeah, that's my main reason for doing it. And I've met loads of cool people doing this channel, and I talk to so many people now, and my collection's like gone mad now since talking to people because they're recommending all these bands I would never ever check out. So that was my reason for doing it. Question 2: would you say you have a go-to subgenre in your music? So what I mean by that is, obviously for me, it's death and doom. So I mean, I listen to all sorts of metal, but for me, my go-to music is death metal vocals, slow doomy guitars. Combine the two, you've got death doom. So a good example is like this band here, Decomposed, a British band. Don't think they exist anymore, I'm not sure. But this EP, I mean, it's got 2 tracks, and one of them's At Rest, and it's got really guttural vocals, really slow guitars, and then you got fast parts in there, like the death metal kind of stuff. But it's death metal done really slowly, and then you get that kind of doomy element into it. So that's my go-to kind of music. And obviously this channel was all about that, and I even play in a band that does that. But that's what I'm in the mood for music on a quick listen. If I'm in the car or out and about, I'll probably put that on just because I know what I'm going to get. And yeah, you know. Question number 3: one genre you cannot get your head around. So a lot of people might say is black metal or something like that, but for me, the one genre I cannot stand or even understand is metalcore. So like Kill Switch Engage, As I Lay Dying, Bring Me the Horizons, another really good one. I just never understood why people were going so fucking mental for them, because I thought they were shit. Still think they're shit. I mean, I think they're even shitter now with the style they play. But yeah, I mean, especially where I live here in Norwich in the UK, the metal scene here, it was all, at one point it was all thrash when I first started gigging with my band, and then it went all to kind of like mediocre, whatever genre you could kind of think. And then at one point it was all these metalcore bands just started popping up, and every like local show was 4 or 5 metalcore bands, or if we do a battle of the bands competition, 90% of it is that style of music, and you're just sitting there going, oh, where's the diversity? I mean, I think especially in my home city, as it were, I could probably count maybe one hand the kind of diversity in metal. Like there's maybe a handful of black metal bands, a handful of death metal bands, doom metal bands, and then the rest are all metalcore. And it just bores me to tears. The whole going up and down, the baseball caps, the really heavy breakdowns. But you know, it just bollocks, absolute bollocks. You know, if you like that kind of thing, fair enough. That's, you know, for you. But to me, it's bollocks. So yeah, that's question 3. Question 4 is one thing you would change about your YouTube channel. So for me, at the moment, being a new guy and it all, it's easy to kind of record it on my phone. I work in IT, so I can kind of do a bit of editing, but it's having the gear to make it look really professional. Like, I think it's Matt and the Vinyl Accusation Network, I think it's called. His channel looks really, really flush. Like, it's got a 4K camera. His editing skills are on point. It's all flows really nicely. It looks really professional. I kind of imagine in his career he might be a video editor or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. But I think it's Gus69 over in Brazil. His channel's edited really well, and I really hope that over doing this, you know, as long as I can, I guess, I'll be able to do that with my channel, because it's all nice. I mean, I've got white screens on my monitors to make it kind of, you can see me at this time of night, but it doesn't look professional to me, and I really want that to be my end goal with this channel, as it were. So that's question 4. Question 5 is one album in your collection that you have and you're not sure how it got there. Now, I mean, I remember buying this, but I still don't know why I bought this album, and that is Korplakani with, I can't even pronounce what it's called. Now, they're a Finnish, I think it's a folk metal band. And this was through Nuclear Blast. I mean, this came out in 2008. I know I got it from HMV, but I'm not sure why. I mean, I've listened to it maybe twice in the years and years I've had this. I mean, it looks brand new, because I've never ever, I think I've maybe listened to it once, and I don't even remember listening to it then. I can't explain to anyone why I even have this CD, because I don't like the band. I tried the other day when I found it, and I was just, don't know. I remember buying it, but even then I don't know why, because the album cover looks naff. I mean, that's not going to draw anyone in. Some bloke with horns fishing. I think he's fishing. And then, you know, on the back, you can see there's a keyboard in there, there's a violin. I mean, that's not my thing. Especially in a folky looking band like that, that's not my thing. So yeah, that's my most random CD. I'll probably give away this to someone if they like it, because I don't know why I have it, but there you go. That's question 5. Question 6, do you have an idol that you look up to within your music genre, or, you know, bigger picture? So for me, obviously, I'm a big metal guy, and obviously the birth of heavy metal to me is Black Sabbath. They're more of a rock band in a way. They're not, their latter albums are more metal, but obviously their early stuff I would say is more classic rock. But obviously, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, my flabby arms, but I have a Tony Iommi tattoo, and I absolutely worship the guy. I saw him on this tour in 2008, maybe. I was a very young teenager. My first ever gig, I went to Nottingham on the train with my best mate. Got front row. And I think the support bands were Lamb of God and Iced Earth, but they had Tim Ripper Owens as the vocalist, if I remember rightly. And, you know, that's when I was flush with cash, and I'd buy all the, you know, the merchandise, CDs, you name it. I even had long hair back then. But he was a big influence on my guitar playing, because obviously he's the birth of doom, as it were, and obviously I studied all his songs, his techniques, and my friend, we were tiny back then. He threw a couple of guitar picks at us, and they kind of landed just before the gate. So you got the stage, the gap between the stage and the crowd, and I got him by the ankles, my friend, and kind of flipped him over the barrier and held him upside down, and he grabbed 2. And I've still got it to this day. I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up on camera or not, but that is a Tony Iommi signature guitar pick. But annoyingly, in my youth, I thought it'd give me special powers with learning guitar, and as you can see, I've absolutely annihilated that with pick slides, tremolo picking, all the kind of techniques he probably doesn't ever use the way I did, and it's absolutely battered. But I can assure you that is a Tony Iommi guitar pick. I think my mate Simon probably still has his, and it's in a lot better nick than mine. But yeah, I've got his biography as well back there, and he's a massive influence on me, and he's a legend. So that's that question. Next question: your most desired album that you do not have in your collection. So obviously everyone has an album they want but they can't get hold of because of maybe price. It's hard to get hold of because there's only a certain amount of copies around the world. I mean, for me, it would be the second album from Solitude Aeternus, Beyond the Crimson Horizon. I recently got the very first one, which is titled Into the Depths of Sorrow. This came out in 1991, I believe, through Road Racer Records. The person selling it on eBay, I mean, he had both. He had the second one, which I really wanted, but that sold for like £97, and I just can't afford that kind of money at the moment to buy a record with. I would have done, but my wife would have murdered me. But this didn't cost very much at all, and I was amazed I actually won it. And it's a bit of a grail for me, because obviously Solitude Eternus, I've spoken about this band hundreds of times on this channel, and I absolutely adore them. But to have this one in my collection is very special for me, because it was something I didn't think I'd ever get hold of until I was maybe a bit older, and I could kind of throw money away when my kids had grown up and left. But yeah, so that's that one. But the second album is the one I really, really want, because that's the first one I ever heard of them, and I, still listen to it to this day. It's an amazing album. So that's that question. One band you wish you could have seen live when they were in their heyday, as it were. So in your opinion, when they were at their best. So for me, it would be Morbid Angel, around the Domination era, purely because that album is flawless to me in regards to production of it, the sound, the riffs. Dave Vincent's vocals on it are spot on. Pete Sandoval's drumming is spot on. Where the Slime Lives, Dominate, Caesar's Palace. It's an amazing album, and I absolutely love that. And it's probably my favourite death metal album of all time. And I just wish I could have seen them live when they were consistent, because I've seen I Am Morbid, and they were really good. Dave Vincent doing his cover band, as it were. And I had tickets to go and see Morbid Angel with, I guess they're the official lineup, but they couldn't get visas, so it just kind of pissed me off, and I kind of lost patience. And then you see clips on YouTube of just them playing awful, like really sloppy, out of time, and you kind of think, if you paid all that money to go see them, you stood there, you're watching the band, you're really excited, and they play shit, you're just not going to like that band the same way anymore, because you've got your hopes up to see them, and then they ruin it. And that's happened to me with a few bands before. I've got really excited, watched them, and gone, what the fuck was that? It leaves a really sour taste, and it takes ages for me to kind of get over that one performance, because that's all it takes is one performance, and it can ruin your career for some bands. So that would be, for me, Morbid Angel and a Domination lineup. And then the next question is the worst album cover in your collection. Now, I've got a few. Now, there's Black Sabbath's Paranoid, with that bloke running around with a motorbike helmet and a sword and shield. I think that looks naff. There's Manowar's Anthology, when they're wearing loincloths. But for me, in my collection anyway, it would have to be this one. It's probably the most random album I have as well. Goat the Head, Simian Supremacy, by means of primal caveman death metal. So the term knuckle-dragging death metal? That's essentially what this band is, or were. I don't even know if they still exist. They're a Norwegian band. And the album cover's shite. It's just them sat in a tree. And there's no explanation. There's a music video of theirs with a caravan and stuff like that, and even then that doesn't really make sense. What's he wearing on his head? No idea. I saw these guys on an old TV show called Scuzz here in the UK, and they had like a battle of the bands where they were playing inside a boxing ring, and that's how I discovered the band Evil. I think they were quite new at the time as well, and I went out and bought both Evil's debut and this one. Obviously, I think Evil had a better career, because obviously people have heard of Evil, but I'd be surprised if many people have heard this band. It's just, I need to give this another spin, because I haven't listened to this for years, but It is essentially just knuckle dragging death metal, obviously in the emphasis of caveman vocal style, because that's pretty much what it is. It's just a weird album and a weird band, and I don't know if they still exist, if they put out another one, but it's just, what is he wearing? It's weird, but yeah, that's my worst album cover. So I'll be interested to see what other people can come up with, because you obviously got the Iron Maiden one that everyone hates, but for me, there's that one. And then I think this is the last question. Yeah, your most personal album that brings you a happy memory. So for me, there's a few, but for me, it would have to be this one. So when me and my wife got married, she's a metalhead as well, but not death metal and all that. She's more of a, I like to call ladies metal, so Metallica, Black Stone Cherry, Avenged Sevenfold, all that kind of crap that I have to suffer now and again. She likes her southern kind of metal with a bloke that can sing, and she'll be all ooh when she's watching them. But there you go. So at our wedding, we kind of had a discussion of what would be our first dance, and we always jokingly said when we first met, it would probably be the one song we could probably agree on that's equally heavy for me, vocally really good for her, and a song that anyone who was at that wedding would be like, what the fuck are you listening to? And that is Diamond Eyes by Deftones. Now at our wedding, when we did the dance, it was quite funny. We had my oldest son, he was part of it, and he was part of the dance and all that kind of stuff. But my wife's a nurse, and all her friends, none of them are metalheads, maybe one out of the 50 odd that were there. And then we had a DJ who had a really good sound system, and he put that track on, and if you know the track, it's really, really loud and really heavy. And the whole crowd of people there were like, what? And we just kind of dancing away to a really, really heavy song. So that brings back a lot of happy memories. Obviously, it's my wife and I's first dance, and I'm looking to get this on vinyl because there's a white pressing of it, which I want to kind of get and frame that in the house, because that'd be quite nice. So yeah, that's one of my personal favourites. So yeah, hopefully those questions make sense, and you can get something out of this. I'll put them in the link in the description bit below. And hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, obviously please subscribe, that helps me out. And I look forward to seeing if anyone replies to it. So take care. Cheers.